If I've ever heard a case of justifiable homicide, this would be the one.
If I'm being 100% honest, it feels like I handed my daughter to the devil.
On the heels of learning about an online rape academy, this week on Feral America, we're going to be highlighting the story of two Hispanic 18-year-old girls with very different stories that you may not have heard. Let's dive into it. We're going to begin this week talking about Makayla Rene Settles. Michaela was 18 years old, living in North Carolina.
She was just such a sweet, loving, kind person.
Her father lived in California, and she decided that for college she would go to Moorpark College, which was right near where her father lived. He offered to let her live with him and pay for her college while she went there. She moved out, and in less than 2 days after she moved out, her father, Vincent Chavez, brutally raped her for 4 hours. When her uncle found her, he had to carry her to the emergency room because she couldn't walk. There was blood on the front and the back of her gown. She told her family members that during the assault, she asked him to stop because she was bleeding vaginally. And he said, "Well, you know what that means," and turned her over. Michaela had a rape kit done, and Vincent Chavez, her father's DNA was found inside of her. The police were notified, and Chavez was arrested.
Michaela was taken to a hospital and a rape kit was performed. According to the family, the results came back positive for Vincent Chavez's DNA. He was arrested that same night.
However, he was let out on bail and is currently out walking free. This was in July 2025, and in December of 2025, unable to deal with her grief and what had happened to her, Michaela took her own life.
I knew that this wasn't something that she could come back from.
Crystal was right. 5 months later, Michaela died by suicide.
If I'm being 100% honest, it feels like I handed my daughter to the devil.
Because she's not around to testify, the case is tenuous at this point, despite all of the evidence.
The DA was essentially saying, we don't know if we have a case because she's no longer here. And when she told me that, I immediately said, no, we're not gonna let that slide.
Think about the worst thing a father could do to his daughter.
Determined to get justice, Crystal took to social media. Her videos went viral, and now hundreds are promising to show up to Chavez's next court hearing scheduled April 21st in Ventura County.
The hearing for Vincent Chavez is at 8:30 a.m. on April 21st at the Ventura County Courthouse at the Ventura Government Center. We will be holding a protest, a march for Michaela, at 8 a.m., April 21st, on the corner of Victoria and Telephone at the Ventura County Courthouse. Please join us to show your support for Michaela's family. They are mostly in North Carolina. They're obviously coming out for the trial, but we really want to see some support out here for Michaela since she's not here to stand up for herself anymore. It's a really tragic story. A lot of people are wondering, well, why did, the comments I've seen online, like, why did her mom send her out there? Blah, blah, blah. Because it was her father. She didn't anticipate this was going to happen. We don't know the circumstances of why Michaela's mother and father were no longer together. And so speculating on that is not something that's worthwhile doing here. It's placing the blame where it doesn't belong. The blame in this case lies squarely with Stephen Vincent Chavez. So let's make sure that he never walks free again, that our voices are heard, and that we show up April 21st, 8 a.m. with our signs and our voices raised. We need to show support for this case that has gotten very little media coverage. Thank you so much to Gina Silva at KTLA for covering this. But otherwise, I haven't seen a whole lot on this case.
When Makayla Rene Settles turned 18, she moved from North Carolina to Moorpark, California to live with her biological father, Stephen Vincent Chavez. 2 days later, her family says she called, terrified and asking for help.
It was just the fear in her voice, her crying. I didn't need details. I knew something was wrong, and I sent him on the way.
Catalina says this is what Chavez texted her the night Michaela was taken to the hospital. I'm never drinking liquor again. I don't want that blackout to happen again.
You aren't blacked out. Like, you're using that as an excuse.
A lot of people online are like, this is fake. I haven't seen any coverage of it. Welcome to the life of brown people. Brown people do not get media coverage when things happen to them. So another case that you may not have heard of involving another 18-year-old Hispanic girl. This is a girl that's originally from Honduras. Her name is Alishon Torres. Alishon was told, along with her other family members, by her 5-year-old sister about a 58-year-old man who was living with a family member who had been molesting the 5-year-old. None of the family members did anything about this except for Alishon. She was out walking late on the night of February 25th, early morning of February 26th at around 1 a.m. and came across this man that was accused by her sister of molesting. Alishon asked if she could borrow his phone to make a call, then confronted him. She proceeded to empty one complete cartridge into him, pulled out a second weapon, and emptied that into him as well. He was found at 2 a.m. with 14 bullet holes in him, including one in his head. He did not survive. Alishon is currently being held in Shelby County, Tennessee, on $1 million bail. Now, if I've ever heard a case of justifiable homicide, this would be the one. The support online from the story that I posted about this has been overwhelming for Alishon. A lot of people are asking, can we start a GoFundMe for her? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is no, because GoFundMe does not allow funds to be raised for someone who is accused of murder. But what you can do to support Alishon is follow these steps to contribute to her commissary.
You'll need to set up an account first with TBE Jail, which will include uploading your credit card information, your driver's license, a photo of yourself, that kind of thing. And once you do that, you should be able to donate by following these instructions. You'll go to tbejail.com and set up an account. Once you've done that, you'll search for Shelby County and Shelby County 201. Click on that and then search Alishon, Alishon, and click search. And you should be able to click right on Alishon's account, select the blue button to continue, and select how much you would like to donate to her.
Right now, the last I checked, it was full, but I'm going to keep checking daily. And if there's any space left on her commissary, I am adding to it. She might be stuck in jail right now, but we can at least make it as comfortable as possible for her, because this girl is out there doing what every single one of us, when we heard about the Rape Academy, wanted to go and do. This is not saying that I'm going to do anything like this. I am not. I do not own any weapons, and I do not condone people killing other people. However, when the legal system is not doing its job, and we've seen with the complete lack of accountability through the Epstein files that it's not doing its job, maybe it's time for the revolution. Just another day in feral America.